listening to Clarity on Fire, a podcast for people who know what they don't want out of their life and career, but aren't sure what they'd rather be doing.
In a world where it's easy to exist, but hard to feel alive, we, Kristen
and Rachel,
two certified life and career coaches, are here to help you cut through the information overload, get unstuck, and focus not just on how you can have a career you're passionate about, but how to create a whole life that feels fulfilling.
So join us here, where we serve up inspiration and down-to-earth wisdom in a way that only two best friends can.
We want you to experience the relief of knowing that, yes, you're allowed to want more out of your life and career.
And no, you don't have to wander through the dark anymore. Our job is to light the fire that shows you the way. Let's go.
Hi.
Hey.
Well, I don't know about you. Actually, I do. So I know that it is accurate to say that I think we both in need of a message from the universe.
Yeah.
Today.
I don't think I've been in more need for a while. I think this is very good timing, hopefully for everyone else too.
Yeah.
To get a little guidance from the universe at the moment.
I don't really have any prologue to this. I think we should just kind of dive in, and it's just not going to be a super long episode, I don't think, because I don't have anything to talk about other than this. Maybe at the end, but not right now. So, okay. Kristen and I are not in the same room, by the way. We haven't been for quite some time. I don't know.
Life
happens. And that's fine. So now Kristen has her own version of this deck. And so she is going to read, because the last time we tried to do this episode, we also had to do it virtually, but you didn't have your own deck. And so I had to pull the cards and read them. And I had been sick. And so...
Oh, that's right. That was a mess.
I was like, yeah. So Kristen has her own deck now. She's going to read them. I'm going to pull them. It's going to be like we're in the same room, even though we're not. Okay, so I'm going to do what I normally do, because why mess with what tradition and what works? Progress, for the sake of progress, should be prohibited. Discouraged. What is it that Professor Umbridge says? I don't know why. We were talking about
prohibited, I think is the word she used.
Prohibited. I was just thinking about Umbridge giving that speech that everyone else fell asleep for, but Hermione was paying very close attention to in Order of the Phoenix.
Ron and Harry were like,
what does it mean, Hermione?
The ministry is interfering
at Hogwarts.
A little Easter egg for our fellow Harry Potter lovers.
Which should be everyone listening to this podcast.
Since I have my own deck and little booklet here with all the descriptors, I happen to be looking through the intro, and it says for a 3-card reading, it has essentially what we've done, but they describe it a little bit differently.
Oh, what do they say?
So they say in a 3-card reading, the first card is the past influence. The second or middle card is the present point of vantage. Interesting.
So your perspective. Okay.
And then the third final card is the probable future destination. So similar to what we've done.
Similar.
But
just slightly different take.
That's a way you could do it.
Yeah.
The past, your current point of view, and a possible future destination of where it could be leading.
And not so much the past as much as what from the past is influencing you at this moment. Right. And then how are you seeing things right now? What is the lens through which you're seeing things right now? And then where are things likely to head from here? Okay. That's interesting. Like that. All right. So again, how we normally do this is I pull 3 cards, a left, a center, and a right card. And you can absolutely choose your own adventure. So you can have just one of those cards be your message of the day. You can stick around and have the entire reading be your message. You can interpret it as past, present, future. You can also interpret it as more so okay, here's my issue. Here's my problem. Here's the guidance, I guess, about the problem. And then here's the likely outcome of this issue. So, you know what? And you can also, even if you're I don't like any of that, then just if there's something else, make it mean what you want it to mean. Right.
Or just wait until the end and see what stood out.
Right.
So maybe you don't know. Nothing's really pulling you right now, maybe you wait and see if one singular card jumps out at you, or the whole message, because we always try to make a message out of them. I think there usually is a message that reveals itself as we pull each card. So it might be the overall theme or trajectory of the reading. So this is for those of you who are very logical and want rules. You're not going to love this, but this is going to stretch your intuitive muscle. And for those of you who are already more on the free flowing, let's just see how it goes, you're going to love this.
All right. So you ready?
Let's go.
Okay. So the first card literally just fell out, and it fell out before. We've had a lot of jumpers as I've been shuffling these. And so I'm like, I'm not going to ignore the fact that some of these cards just keep hitting us. Okay. So the left card is number 15, One Ring Circus.
Interesting.
So it's, the visual is there is like a sea, and there's a rock maybe coming out of the sea, and on the rock is an elephant. Okay. And there's a saddle on the elephant, and on the saddle it looks like Britney Spears in All Eyes on Me in the center of the ring, just like a circus. Like it looks like that kind of an outfit.
Love that symbolism.
It's sunny, but there's also a crescent moon in the background. So, okay, what have we to say about One Ring Circus?
So as a reminder, this deck gives you two possible interpretations. One is upright. So if you pull the card and it's facing upright. One is if you pull the card and it's facing the reverse, upside down. I'm just going to read the upright today. They're usually very similar messages with maybe a slightly different tone to them. So interpret as you will. But I think for today, we're just going to go with the traditional definition.
Okay. What's the quote at the beginning? Okay. Right.
And this time the quote is, "You are capable and competent."
Great. Love to hear that. Let's hear more.
Great start.
Okay. This is the past, or maybe the problem. Is the problem that you're incapable or incompetent? Okay, let's go.
Maybe you're too capable and too competent.
Great reframe.
Do less. Okay. Our message is, independence is key now as you step into your journey today. Others may not have the vision or resources that you need. Recognize that all the wisdom you've acquired along the way makes you particularly competent and capable of moving forward with assurance. Self-reliance is important. Another aspect to consider is creating and maintaining clear boundaries between you and another. Be discerning about your partnerships at this time. When you know who you are and have a healthy sense of where you end and others begin, you're able to enter into the best kind of relationships and will attract people who mirror back your wholeness. Interdependent relationships are always mutually supportive, stimulating, and transformative. You can achieve anything at this time. Well, a very positive message. And it's interesting how it starts with independence and really emphasizing independence, but then opens up the possibility of interdependence. You almost have to start with that independence. So I almost wonder if this could be a sign, since it's showing up in the first spot, which is typically the past or the problem. Maybe you are not currently having a good balance of both independence and interdependence. Maybe you're a little bit too self-reliant and not leaning on other people, not reaching out to other people. Or maybe you're having not clear boundaries. And so there's these muddled lines between what you want, what other people want. People pleasing might be coming into effect and messing up that potential interdependence.
Yeah. I mean, again, depending on how you want to read this, this could be something that you've worked to overcome and that you have become more self-reliant and capable. And this might be a reminder that, like, wait, I know you think you can't do it. And I know you think that you're like, other people have resources that I need, and that, like, I can't do this on my own, or that, like, I need to, like, enmesh myself with somebody else in order to, like, be able to do this. But, like, no one's saying you have to go off and do it on your own. You're allowed to have interdependence, but also believe in your own ability, and like your ability to rely on yourself is important. Okay, that's interesting.
So that may be your message right there. That might be exactly what you needed. Or this might be setting the stage for a bigger message. Interesting. Okay. Well, it's a very positive starting. If this is the problem, that you're already capable and confident and have everything that you need, we're starting out in a good place.
Oh, okay. Our next card is number 51, Moonlight. Okay, it's a balcony and there's like a fairy and she's sort of with her back turned to us so we can see her wings and they're translucent. There's an hourglass next to her on the ledge of the balcony. And then in front of her is a giant, and I mean giant, it takes up like a third of the card, moon. And flying in front of the moon, in the dark of the moon, is an owl.
Have we seen this card before? This is not ringing a bell to me.
I mean, I've seen it in the deck. I don't know if we've ever like read it before.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Okay. Moonlight. Well, here's our little quote at the beginning. Your intuition allows you to see beyond the mundane, logical, and analytical. Follow it. Okay. More where that came from. Moonlight beckons. Come and trust your intuition to lead you into the places that may not seem logical. Your hunches will be right on target. Resist second-guessing yourself, for your alternative perception is especially sharp right now. You can see beyond the surface of things and truly read between the lines. This is a good time to use oracle cards or other systems of divination to gain information. Remember that the language of intuition is a symbolic one. It comes subtly through a hunch, a tingling, a clear sound, or an animal or object crossing your path. Spirit is sending you messages to help you now. Success is yours if you follow the signs.
You
this
know,
one to me makes a lot of sense in the middle position.
It pairs really well with the last one. If you're seeing it through the lens of like, you can trust your hunches. I know that other people, like you're going to be, this is like, so what happens if you're sort of a witchy girl and you love your astrology readings and, you know, you like go and have like a tarot reading with someone and they're telling you something and you get really upset because it really doesn't jive with what you have intuited for your own journey or your whatever the situation is in your life. I've had this happen so many times where someone's telling me something and it just doesn't jive with what I feel I know. And it's like, at the end of the day, we have to remember that we are the best source of knowledge and intuition about our own experience, and we can trust our own wisdom and our own hunches more than other people's. I don't know. I feel like when you pair it with those two paired together is like a pretty strong message.
Right. You are capable and confident, or whatever the phrase was, competent, because you have everything you need within you that is constantly being communicated to you through your intuition. In fact, often seeking other people's opinions or advice or desires muddles up your own intuitions. That may be why the first card started with emphasizing independence and relying more on yourself. Other people don't have what you need because they don't have your intuition. Only you have access to your own intuition.
Yeah.
And so if this is in the middle position for you and you're doing the full complete reading with all three cards, this might mean this is your current perspective and this is what you're doing. And this is a encouragement to keep checking in and trusting your own intuition. Or it might be saying you have been relying on other people. You have been looking externally for answers, and you need to start looking internally for the right answers for you in order to figure out how to proceed. Yep. Trust yourself.
Yeah. Even when, again, logic is not, it's not going to be at the foreground here. Like it's going to feel more like signs and hunches and even like a tingling rather than clear, logical, bullet pointed information.
Exactly. And in fact, it says your intuition may lead you to places that may not seem logical. So it might actually feel illogical on the outside.
Right.
But, and I love this line, resist second guessing yourself.
Yes.
Oh my God. How many of us do this constantly? Constantly.
Mm-hmm.
This is saying, stop it. That first intuitive hunch, that first instinct, gut feeling is the one to go with. The more you overthink it and second guess, the more you get up in your head, and then you've just lost that intuitive connection.
And the more you let other people influence, your hunches, maybe be careful about who we're sharing it with.
Yep. Because then other people's logic will get in and muddle up your intuition.
Agreed. All right. Let's see how this concludes then.
Okay.
Pull the right card. Oh, 27. Home. Okay. Interestingly, this is like as if you took a giant tree and you built an ornate door in it. Very Lord of the Rings looking. There's a clock embedded into this tree. There's a sign and it says, welcome life. There's literally a sign hanging from the tree.
Welcome life. Okay.
Welcome life. And then there's an owl perched in the branches of this tree.
Didn't we just have an owl?
We did. And there's a little teeny fairy in the bottom corner too. And we just had a fairy in the last card. And the last card had a moon and the card before that had a moon. So I feel like there's like a progression here. Okay. It's again, all these cards, it's like I literally need a magnifying glass because some of these things are so small that you can't even really see them, I don't think, unless you put them under like a microscope.
Well, we're going to take pictures of these cards and you can, once they're uploaded, you can zoom in on your phone and see if you can get all the little details. I do like the third card being home. That feels like a nice completion.
Yeah. Okay.
Our quote at the beginning, you are comfortable in your own skin. You belong. Peace, security, safety, belonging, and all the features one would want from home are indicated now. The home card represents an invitation to experience what it's like to be secure in your own skin, to live comfortably no matter what is happening in the world around you. It is a time for opening your eyes to your tribe of like-minded people or one special person who makes you feel like you've come home. Home is love, and love is all around you now. Whatever your inquiry, you are where you're meant to be and will reap great benefits by staying on this path regardless of where it leads. Home will always be with you. It is where the heart is. Well, that's a card of it feels like it's a completion of the story, right? And I do like that there's that emphasis again on your home, which feels kind of homey and cozy and you're in your own special place, but there's people there too. There's your tribe. There's your special people or person who makes you feel like home. So it's not a lonely experience. Just like in the first card, it started out with independence, but it quickly built into a healthy interdependence with other people. And that's that feeling of home is I found my people that I can be myself with and I don't have to give up any part of myself.
I think it's really funny, Kristen, that you and I were both talking about literally like home and where we foresee ourselves living, like in the long term. Literally, before we hit record, we were talking about
I was thinking that as I was reading this, I was like, well, home can be a physical place or it can be a feeling of a phase of life, or it can be people, right? And for us right now, I think it might be physical, among other things, but physically considering a new change of home.
I mean, ultimately, you take your home with you wherever you go because, you belong to yourself. And the home is, yes, it's a place you live and it's the people you spend time with, but it's also like if you can cultivate that sense of security and safety and peace and belonging, then home can be anywhere you choose to be and choose to go.
Especially when we bring in card number 2, when you are listening to your intuition and you're following the signs that are guiding you to the right next answer, you do feel like you belong to yourself because you're not letting everybody else's ideas and opinions cloud up who you are at your core and what you want.
Yeah. So if we can rely on our own capability and competence, like have healthy boundaries between who we are and how we feel and how other people feel and what they think, which doesn't mean complete independence. It just means we know where the line is between us and other people. And then we trust ourselves above everything else. We trust our hunches, even if it doesn't seem logical, even if other people don't understand it, then ultimately we will arrive in a place of security and safety and belonging and feeling at home with ourselves and everyone else and the world around us, literally or figuratively or both.
I mean, this is one of the most cohesive messages we've gotten. I feel like every piece just felt like it clicked right into place.
Now,
sometimes you're like, that's an interesting story. How does that all connect?
How do I make that make sense?
This one was quite clear.
Yeah. Now, before we hit record, Kristen and I were talking, and this one card kept jumping out and jumping out and jumping out. Literally, like I saw it 3 times. And I was like, at the 3rd time, I was like, enough. I'm setting this aside. I will read it at the end of this reading. And it may just be for me and Kristen. I sort of doubt it. I feel like there's going to be some sort of overarching theme or message here that maybe is relevant to all of you or ties together everything we just said. But I decided to save it till the end. And so I want to read this bonus card, which is card number 11, Balancing Act. We have seen this one before. It's like a woman standing on like, almost like, it looks as if you zoomed into like some sort of white marble building and she's standing on like the top of the column, or maybe like, oh gosh, what are the gargoyle, but it's not a gargoyle. It's like an angel, right?
Okay.
Right. But it's like, you know how they're perched on like sort of the ledge or the side of a building. She's like standing on one of those, right? She's standing seriously like on a ledge.
Oh, okay.
Right. And then she's got a hat on and like not much else. She's wearing like a bed sheet, what looks like wrapped around herself. Like she doesn't look like it's even a dress, but she's got a bonnet on with it. It looks like Regency, but if Regency era was a little bit scandalous, right?
Oh,
that's what, I don't know. And she's holding a string, and the string goes across the card into nothingness. Like you can't see where the string ends. Behind her is just clouds. So she's very high up. On the string, there is a glass orb balanced on the string. And on top of the glass orb is a little ship.
Oh, a lot of balancing going on.
A lot of balancing. And then sort of like confetti sprinkled down, raining down over the ship and down into the sky is like confetti hearts. I'm telling you, these cards are wild looking.
I know.
They look like something I dream about on a regular basis.
You do have dreams that are
I do have dreams that look like that. Yeah.
Detailed and vivid.
Yeah. So,
interesting. Okay. Bonus card. What message do we have here?
Okay.
You are calm within no matter the fluctuation of outer conditions.
Okay. All right.
There are times when things seem a bit topsy-turvy and it feels as if you're juggling 1,000 balls in the air. Perhaps you're unsure of your footing. Now is the moment to evaluate which areas of your life need balance and then restore equilibrium. Choose harmony over discord, and great success will be yours. You'll find inner stability when you choose a balanced, focused, and level path. I mean, this feels like it hits on, first of all, it hits on a lot of the themes we've already seen, but then it also balances all of the moving pieces of it in order to give you that sense of equilibrium and stability and home.
Yeah, I see this as sort of like a reminder that, like, if I were to read this card, if I feel like if there was a tarot card that translated to this, it would be like the 2 of Pentacles or like something like that, where, or like Temperance. Like, this is kind of you don't have to be slow and steady necessarily, but like steadiness is called for. We don't necessarily need to go to extremes. So, you know, if I'm thinking of like what you and I were talking about before we recorded, and like there's so many question marks in life right now. and like some literal physical question marks. Like you and I are both like, where will we end up living by the end of this year? Both of us are like kind of up in the air around like, where will we even be? Will we even be in this state? Either of us, you know, which is kind of crazy. And like, who knows? Maybe we'll be right here. Maybe we won't be. We don't know.
Right.
But I think, you know, if that's just an example, obviously you guys don't all have that going on. But I feel like what's being reminded here and why it kept jumping out is probably as a reminder that like, no matter what, extremes aren't called for in your approach.
Yes.
Like
and
you don't have to
even when it feels like everything around you is uncertain and fluctuating and kind of chaotic, you can still cultivate a sense of calm within. And I think that really is pulling in that intuition card that was in the second spot.
The moonlight card,
where rely on yourself, because rely on your intuition and your instincts to guide you through this, because it might feel like, I don't know what the answers are. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing right now. There's all these moving pieces. I'm juggling a million things. There's too many question marks. You don't have to have the answers in order to balance it all. We think we have to overly control things in order to get that sense of balance. But really, the most important thing is to cultivate a sense of as much calm. I mean, I say calm. This is not like ignore all of your feelings and all of your uncertainties, but it's like get back to that place of calm and trust and peace as often as you can, whatever that requires you to do. And that's going to give you the answers that you need to balance everything and ultimately get that sense of home, physical or emotional or both.
Yeah. It's like we don't get that sense of belonging and calm and security and stability by being a crazy ass bitch in the pursuit of it, you know?
Right.
Just to say it in another way. Like if you're coming at it frantically, you're not going to achieve that sense of peace and calm and belonging and security and like trust. So how we go about it matters. Going about it like in a calm, steady way, trusting that like things are going to work out, you know? That's going to lead us where we want to go. I feel like that was a card about the attitude.
Yes. Yeah.
That you might need to approach all of this with. Okay. Well, that was fun. Always like a good message from the universe. And I feel like that was helpful for me.
Certainly resonated for me. Hopefully for the rest of you too.
Yeah. So obviously we'd love to hear what you guys think. Like I'll probably post an Instagram story about it if I can remember. I don't know. You guys know I don't care about Instagram. But you can definitely comment on the post on our site where we post these cards and you can go see the pictures. So in the show notes, there will be a link, or you can, if you're listening to this the day it comes out, or, you know, after that, you can go to PartyOnFire.com and go to the podcast tab. And if it's recent, then you'll be able to see it on that page and leave a comment and look at the cards more. Okay. Well, hey, this is not the last Friday of the month, because next Friday we will be back with our bonus book club episode. I guess
which will be an especially fun one.
Yeah, because we have a special guest who's going to come and teach us about the book Attached and just attachment theory in general. It's going to be so important. You got to hear it. Oh my gosh, Kristen, do you know what I should have said at the top of this episode when I was like thinking of like things to say? Is I should have told you to watch. If you need it, do you need a distraction show right now?
Yes, please.
So never in my life, because you know me, you know, I don't go for reality TV. I'm actually sort of like snobby about not watching reality TV because it's not reality. And the people are like dumpster fires, and it drives me nuts as a coach to watch them be so unhinged, you know? But this past Friday, I was, I was at Joseph's place, and he was like, the new season of Love is Blind is out. And I'm like, I've never seen that. And he's like, trust me. And I was like, all right. He and I watched 11 episodes in 48 hours. And we also slept during that time.
Were you infuriated the whole time? Or
I was enthralled. I was fascinated. You have to watch it. You have to, because Kristen, the premise. Now, I know some of you guys already watch it and you're like, okay, so just stop listening if you already know how it works. But so they have like this big group, like 30, I think, girls and guys. Now, you don't see all of them because there's just not enough time. And I think some people aren't that interesting. And so their whole appearance on the show is just cut. You never even see them. Sometimes you see them hanging around in like the girls' quarters and the guys' quarters. Like you'll see people who are like, I've never even seen them on a date.
They become extras of a sort.
So there's like a handful of people who become kind of regulars. And so these girls and guys they go into these pods and there's a wall partition between them and there's like couches and everything. So they're like on a date, but they obviously have no idea what the other person looks like. And so they go out on dates with people and eventually the guys have the option to propose to someone
without ever seeing them,
sight unseen. Okay.
What?
And so then they do a reveal. They get dressed up and they do a reveal and they see their literal fiance for the first time.
Oh man.
And I paused so many times with Joseph and I was like,
evaluating every facial expression.
Yes. Like there was this one reveal where the girl said she looked like a major celebrity and I can kind of see why people say she looks like her, but she doesn't look anything like her, really. And the guy clearly picks her because he thinks she looks like Megan Fox. She doesn't look like Megan Fox. I mean, she a few features.
You don't want to compare yourself to Megan Fox unless you look exactly like Megan Fox.
That's a high bar. And so he definitely is influenced by that and he picks her. And we lost it when we saw his face because he tried to save it. But I was like, you've given it away just in your face. And then, so then there's like a handful of couples who literally end up engaged to someone they've never seen. And then they send them all of the engaged couples on like this tropical trip. Okay. Kind of like a honeymoon. And then they get to meet some of the other people and some of these other people they went on dates with. Right.
Oh, so that's wild.
Yes. And then after that, they send them all home and they have to live together for a month, but they also have to go back to work. So they're like literally engaged to someone they've known for like 2 weeks. And now they're like incorporating them into their life. It's insane. The timeline of this is like, even the most healthy of couples would fall apart at the insane pace of this. It's not healthy. It's not natural, obviously. But at the end, there's a wedding and they can choose to get married at this wedding or they can jilt the other.
Oh, no.
Yes. So.
Okay. But is this like every other reality show where everyone's kind of hot? Like they just pick
that's a good question. Sort of, but there are some I would say that there are normal looking people on the show. Okay. For sure. Okay. Not everyone is like a stunner, Yeah. There's a couple, obviously. But no, some people are more just like normal looking people.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. That's good. Cause I was like, I mean, that's less exciting if everyone's already like looking like a model.
No, because that would kind of defeat the purpose.
Right.
And so, you have people giving people a chance who they never would have in real life because it's like, oh, I never dated a white girl before. Like some, but we're going to see how it goes. Right. And
interesting.
They can kind of describe how they look to the other people, obviously. But like, again, you say you look like Megan Fox. That don't mean you look like Megan Fox.
Yeah. Using your imagination does not usually paint a clear picture.
I had so much fun watching that show. Like it is fun to watch it. It is fun to watch it with another person because you can just talk shit the whole time. But you can also like, as a coach, it's so fascinating because you're like, oh my God, that person has her anxious attachment is off the rails. Or
I can imagine.
Oh my, it's, and then of course you've got people who are like, who didn't get picked. They are devastated. Like,
of course
it comes down to like, I don't know. I like both of these girls and he proposes to one and you're like, how is he proposing to her? And like, how is she accepting this guy? She should totally be accepting that guy.
But then what if somebody really, really likes you and proposes to you and then sees you and then is like,
I
Talk about feeding every insecurity.
I know.
Oh, man.
And then eventually they see some of the people they didn't pick. And then you see them going, oh, no.
Did I make a wrong choice?
Oh, yes. And then they sometimes act on that wrong. They act on it.
Oh, from a psychological perspective, I will love this. Yes.
So you don't have to, I mean, I haven't even seen seasons 1 through 5. Whatever the most recent season of Love is Blind is what I'm watching right now. I will definitely be going back to watch all of it now, I think, because it's so messy. I mean, like, obviously so much of it is edited. So much of it, like, I'm sure there are things that we're not seeing that are like normal and healthy. And of course they're focusing on a lot of the dramatic and unhealthy and stuff. But like, if you guys like love analyzing people and their crazy behavior, I can't recommend watching
I'm sold.
enough.
I'm sold. Sign me up.
Text me. I got Marissa. I told Marissa she had to watch it. Our friend Marissa. And she's been
I'll be live texting you.
She's been live texting me, and I'm just like here for it. It's just so many things you just don't expect. And the thing I like the most about it is that you and I are pretty good at predicting what's going to happen with people. Like it, and I have been shocked by the couples who have lasted and the couples who have not.
Oh, that's even more fascinating.
Right. I know. Because I had this one couple, like Joseph and I agreed that this one couple was probably the most likely to work out, and they were like the second to break up.
Oh,
and I was like, whoa.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
Anyway.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sold.
And you think some people are going to be like, oh, they're going to think that person's ugly. And then they're like over the moon. And I'm like, what? You think that person's hot? You just don't know what people are going to do. You just don't know.
You can't, I mean, people have their own sense of taste and interest. Like, it's just fascinating. It's fascinating.
Also,
what attracts people to other people?
Nick and Vanessa Lachey host the show. And
that's excellent.
All they ever do is come on every few episodes and give a little speech. And at the end, they're like, is love blind? They get paid like $1 million to just say, is love blind? Like 4 times. I'm like, wow.
Good for them.
What a great gig that you've got. Anyway, whoever wants to talk about Love is Blind, hit us up. I'm here to talk about it. I'm so excited because the next episode is like the finale, like the weddings episode came out today as we're recording this.
Oh man.
And
you're going to find out who showed up.
Isn't here, but Joseph isn't here. And so I can't watch it without him. And so I have to wait a couple days, and then we will watch it together and freak out whoever ends up married or not married. So into it. Yeah. It's actually good because it's established. Like he and I had so many conversations about like, if you and I were on this show, what would we do? And like, I don't know, it prompted a lot of conversations like about our relationship, but not in a bad way.
Yeah.
Anyway, love it.
It's fascinating.
Watch it. Text me about it. Okay. All right. That was like a random aside about Love is Blind.
Nope, I'm here for it. Here for it. And sorry for any of you who have heard crazy barking dogs in the background. Hopefully you can't hear them.
I didn't hear it.
So. I have 3 dogs in my house, and there's just no keeping them silent all day long. So
okay. All right. Well, that's people don't care. They're here for it. All right.
You're not a dog lover. What are you even doing here?
Yeah. If you don't like dogs or Harry Potter or like, or books. Taylor Swift. Yeah. Get out. Okay. So we will be back next Friday with our episode about Attached, which again, you do not have to have read the book. Just show up and hear us talk about it. Okay. All right. We'll see you then.
See you then.